Chapter 70. Enid watched as Wednesday and Agnes slipped into Miss Capri's car and infiltrated Willow Hill. Meanwhile, a van and an armored vehicle full of USSPPO agents were quietly stationed outside the facility. Inside the van, the team leader, Jerry, watched the monitor with his headset on. "Why do I feel like your uncle would have agreed to take part in this operation regardless of whether or not we don't include this as record? Most of your family deals in shady business anyway. Why even bother clearing it?" he asked, glancing at Adele, who was sitting beside him. "Oh, we don't need to," Adele said casually. "It just seemed like the polite thing to do." Jerry raised a brow. "What happened to your upside-down morality? Bad is good, good is bad? If I add this to my uncle's record, that would count as him aiding law enforcement. The majority of my family avoids physical or legal cooperation with the authorities, unless caught." Jerry blinked, clearly lost. Adele sighed and simplified. "Helping cops is good, which means it's considered bad in my family." "Ah. Alright, I get it." He leaned back in his chair. "So why did you decide to work for the agency and become a lawyer?" "Because it's a simple way to embezzle money without robbing a bank," Adele said flatly. Jerry looked at her, stunned. "Don't tell me you've been taking bribes from your clients?" Adele tilted her head, smiling faintly. "How else do you expect me to pull strings and get them acquitted?" Meanwhile, back at Nevermore, Tyler walked up to Wednesday's dorm. He knocked, surprised when Enid opened the door. "Tyler? What are you doing here?" Enid asked. Bruno got up from her bed, waving casually. "Oh, man, what brings you here?" "It's Friday," Tyler said simply. "Date night with Wednesday." Enid blinked, caught off guard. "Wait, really? How come she didn't say anything to me? I mean, I didn't even know you guys had a standing date night." "Sometimes it gets moved to Saturday," Tyler replied, glancing past her. "I didn't hear her cello in the music room earlier, and it doesn't sound like she's working on her novel. So I figured it was tonight." Enid fidgeted, forcing a smile. "Oh, right. I just remembered, Wednesday went out. I think she might have gone to the cottage." As she tried to close the door, Tyler stopped it with his hand. He pushed it open again, scanning the room. Thing wasn't there either. His expression darkened. "She went to Willow Hill, didn't she?" he said quietly. Enid hesitated, then nodded. Without another word, Tyler pulled out his phone and called Adele. She answered immediately. "Hello, Tyler. Wednesday's at Willow Hill," he said urgently. She snuck out. Adele glanced toward the building on her monitor. Its lights had just gone dark. "I'll go get her," she said before hanging up. Tyler stood frozen for a moment, then bolted down the stairs. When Uncle Fester short-circuited the grid, the facility's lights flickered violently before everything went dark. Power cut. Every cell door creaked open. The outcasts from Lois's basement, wild, disoriented, and enraged, poured into the halls, swarming Judy in a storm of vengeance. Wednesday ignored the chaos and rushed into the basement. Inside one of the farthest cells, she saw the frail woman from Xavier's painting, curled in the corner, trembling, too terrified to move. "Come with me," Wednesday said calmly. The woman hesitated, then reached out. Wednesday helped her up, guiding her carefully through the corridors, keeping low as they avoided patrolling guards and flashing red emergency lights. They turned a corner, and froze. Marilyn Thornhill, aka Laura Gates, stood there in the dim glow, a pistol glinting in her hand. "Well, what do you know?" Marilyn sneered, stepping closer. "Fate's finally giving me a second chance." End of the line, Wednesday Addams. Wednesday immediately stepped in front of the trembling woman. "Go now," she ordered quietly. Before the woman could move, a gunshot cracked through the hallway. "I've been waiting for this day for months," Marilyn said, advancing with a manic smile. Wednesday grabbed the woman, pulling her behind her again. "I have to hand it to you, Wednesday," Marilyn went on, circling slowly. "You really played me for a fool. Even though Tyler was acquitted for murder, I thought he'd still be locked up somewhere, chained like the monster he is. How did you convince the court to let him walk free? At the mention of Tyler's name, the woman flinched violently, her hands clamped over her mouth, eyes widening as if the name had torn open some old wound. Wednesday's voice was flat, cold. I asked my family to pull some strings. Marilyn laughed bitterly. You fell in love with a psychotic, serial-killing monster. What can I say? Wednesday replied, deadpan. He's my type. Just then, light flooded the far end of the hallway. A guard's voice echoed through the chaos, freeze. Wednesday turned her head just enough to see him, then shoved the woman down as Marilyn opened fire. 2 shots rang out. The guard retaliated, hitting Marilyn square in the chest. A split second later, the guard himself was struck by a bullet from a USSPPO agent moving in from the West Wing. Smoke hung thick in the air. Thing scurried across the floor, climbing over debris until he reached Wednesday. She lay in the woman's arms, her face pale,